Good afternoon, folks. Triple Crown here, coming to you from Vancouver, British Columbia. It is actually stopped snowing now. We can kind of see. I had a comment from Captain G that this is not good for Germany doing a Barbarossa on a snowstorm. So, could be right. The Russians have very cleverly taken advantage of the fact they have a major, and they had some fast movers in Moscow. So they now currently have 14 infantry, 3 armor, and 3 aircraft. Now, the one territory that the Germans said the Russians could not take back as part of Barbarossa was Leningrad, but Finland is on the table. Russia just has the numbers. There's nothing Germany can do. They only have 2 transports. They've got a a military base, and they get 1 free per turn for Finland. So that's only 6. They just can't match this. So what is Germany going to do to counteract this? Well, Russia currently only has about 17 or 18 units defending Moscow. So they have to bring this up, and they have to get it there in a hurry. They're 1 turn away. They take Orly Kursk next turn. They're 1 turn away from capturing Moscow. So this is going to be interesting to see this how it plays out. When I play Hilltop, he often, instead of abandoning this factory, he goes on the offense. And then what does that do? It does 2 things for the Russians. It slows down them being surrounded, and it also keeps their economy, gives their economy a boost. So they're able to then purchase units back here. And, you know, same with Russia going on the offense here. It allows them to, you know, they're getting an average of 4 to 5 bonus IPP per round. That's going right back into defending Moscow. So these, you know, units here have paid for themselves, and they're also keeping, you know, some pressure on the Japanese. So sometimes, folks, going on the offense is actually a good thing. Germany is ready to load 4 more ground units on the Italian transports. They built some units here in Paris, and they're ready to rail some more down with the rail. Actually, this air transport is here. So they're starting to defend Paris, or going to start trying to build a western wall. They sent one of their submarines up here to the convoy zone to convoy the Russians. The Canadians responded by moving some of their navy over to put pressure, and Canada built another transport, and the Russian fleet came and amalgamated. The British added a destroyer. So Canada also built a Sherman tank and an infantry. America spent all of their money in the Pacific. They purchased 2 transports with units to load, and also a destroyer and aircraft carrier. So the pressure is now on the Germans, who don't have much defending over here. I mean, 6 transports is a lot. So that's what the Allies want to do. They want to stop Germans from building their heavy tanks. That's what all the generals here along the Eastern Front, all the German, they are saying, give us some armor. We want armor. So the Canadians down here continuing to slowly annex the Brazilian territories. Liberia remains unannexed. Actually, we need to add another infantry for there. That's supposed to happen on the even rounds. So we could have added, that's actually supposed to be 3 now. The Canadian fleet now here with the Brazilians is now in South Africa, and they're starting to walk up. They wanted to get on their transports and sail up, but they can't because the Japanese annexed Ceylon, or actually attacked it. It was a walk-on, but now their fleet can come down here, and then these transports cannot make it all the way up. So what the Japanese are planning to do here is they took back Madras. This has been the plan, is to build an air base here. Okay, what does an air base allow them to do? Well, they can move all of these aircraft over to here. Their fleets here are about even, and they're about 3 spaces away from each other. They're actually one sea zone up. As then they can send their Navy with support of these aircraft and attack the British fleet here and land in Syria. So that is the plan there. Over here in Cairo, the British still have the advantage, and that is because even though the Italian Navy is growing, or the Italian, ground units are growing, the British have 17 units to, I think the Italians have about 14. So, and currently the Germans only have 4 ground units and 5 aircraft. So it's a little bit tight. They're starting to win the war of attrition. And this has all happened because of the Japanese fleet here. Had that not happened, the Canadians, they would have come all the way up here and been 1 space away from Cairo. So the British built another military base in Africa. So they got to get these guys up. They built a fighter as quick as they can up to Cairo. The French Foreign Legion got into battle here, and so there's still a military base there. They killed 2 Italians, so they did their job, mutual destruction. The British have now taken over control of the whole Middle East, but they only have 1 infantry left. There was a bit of a battle here with mutual destruction, and their armor is going up to help out the Russians, which currently over here in India, the British are backing up. I think they have about 8 infantry left, and in AAA, well, they are slowly backing up as well, because they know if they go anywhere along the coast here, there's still about, 10, how many transports is that? But basically more than enough to grab all these guys, and they're going to come down and they're going to wipe them out. So the British do not want that. They're trying to remain alive in the game. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Russian economy now. I think they have 54 to spend next turn. The Germans have 74, Russia 28. The British are at 41. Canada's 19. Australia, I think they have 28 to spend next year. That's not their economy, that's just what they had left over. So we'll quickly go over here. The Australians took the Carolines with it. They lost 2 ground units doing so. They brought up 2 transports. They built another transport with another Special Z commando and an artillery. So they both attack at 3 when they're doing an amphibious attack. And the British built another destroyer, and they also have a transport. And the Anzac and Dutch and combined British fleet here, they are projecting power into the South Pacific here. So currently, they're kind of keeping this fleet here at bay. If they get too close, they're going to get wiped out because they're smaller. But they're threatening the coast along here. They're all 2 spaces away. They could reinforce the Philippines, which is still in American control. Well, up here in China, the Chinese have decided to back away. The Japanese did a landing here in, what is that? Shantung, and they wiped out about 6 Chinese who only inflicted 1 casualty. So the Chinese said that's enough, we're backing up. They built 4 units here in Sichuan. Playing a little bit of ping pong here in this territory in Guangxi. But the Chinese have realized now that, the Japanese dropped 12 ground units, and they can reload and drop another 12 next turn. So a little bit of ping pong happening up here in Manchuria. The Japanese sent 1 guy up, and the CCP and the Russians took it back with an armor. However, what the Japanese are trying to do is use their air force and use whatever resources they have to take out 1 enemy at a time. They've currently basically succeeded down here in Calcutta. Now they are focused on the Chinese because nobody else is attacking them. And then next, I have a feeling they might focus on the CCP and Russians. The Americans are over here in Hawaii. They're safe. Their Air Force is still in Midway. The Japanese is starting to build up more Navy. So they built, I think, 6 more, 3 destroyers, 3 submarines that turn. So America did not build in the Pacific this round. They're now at war. And just curious, or for funny, I did roll for just pretend the Germans did not attack last round. America had to roll, actually they had 74 in their economy, so they had to roll a 5 or less and they would be out of the war. Well, they rolled a 6, so they would have been in the war regardless. So, yeah, so now America is making 105 IPP. So watch out, folks. The sleeping giant is now in the war. I think that's about it. The fairy swordfish is trying to make its way around without getting wiped out, back up to Cairo. So anyways, folks, just gonna, because this video here has been a little bit about the Eastern Front, just gonna talk about, I think both the Germans and the Russians did not trust the leadership that they had on the front. Stalin, you know, historically was brutal and executed a lot of his leaders, and the leadership and the German higher up did not trust their generals. So can you imagine what would have happened if they trusted the people below them? So that is my message, folks. When you have a staff or you're in a position of power and you have people reporting to you, you know, I'm not saying every scenario, but you need to be able to trust those that report to you. So that's my message, folks. Thanks for watching. This is the end of the round 4.